We are recording.
We are. Oh, yes.
The Struggle is Real
Okay.
podcast.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, this is Wes.
This is Mdot.
We're back with another episode, another week.
Yep.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Struggle is Real podcast.
Where adulting gets too real.
Where one person's struggle is another's hustle.
And where we find beauty in the art of struggle.
All right. So we back from a week hiatus. Took the holiday off, as our listeners would say in the UK. I guess I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving just passed.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. That sounded like your stomach was growling.
It was. Just a little.
But yeah, I enjoyed myself. Got leftovers in the fridge all day, every day.
And I was asking how long you gonna keep them leftovers?
Until they last. I got an assortment of stuff in there.
Oh, that's true. But sometimes, like, you shouldn't. Your leftovers shouldn't last until Monday.
They will.
They shouldn't. Like, that is old food that you need to get rid of.
It's packaged correctly.
Okay.
It is.
In the freezer?
Look, man, just know that it's packaged correctly. It's not in the freezer, but
this stuff is gonna be messed up.
Nah. You can't get messed up over 2-day macaroni as long as it's. Look, I'm gonna be fine.
Not 2-day macaroni. I'm talking about like 4 or 5-day macaroni.
No, not at all.
That ain't it. We went to family members' houses for Thanksgiving, but then I made like a separate Thanksgiving meal the next day too.
Okay.
So we had fresh food.
So okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So y'all feasting.
Pretty much.
Feasting.
But I'm already tired of turkey. It's been 2 days.
See, that's why you got to cook more than turkey. No ham, no fried chicken.
I don't eat ham. I don't.
Oh yeah, right.
But I was thinking about Cornish hens this year, but then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna save some money. My mom had an extra turkey stored away, so
okay, cool.
Was able to cop that.
Yeah, I didn't. We did the same thing. Visited family. I didn't. The food was okay. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay.
But we visited family.
Yeah.
And the food was not quite what I was used to as far as like the recipes and the seasonings and stuff like that. But it was dope.
What you mean?
You know how like you grow up and you're used to certain things being seasoned a certain way. Not that there was a lack of seasoning. I didn't have a lack of seasoning Thanksgiving.
Did they try like different foods?
Just different seasonings, different recipes basically. And I'm like, yes, it's
for the whole thing.
Everything, because I never ate there before, so it's like I'm not used to it. So it's
so
like,
that was different.
Yeah,
not that they actually switched up one year and was like, you know what?
I never ate there before.
Deciding not to cook with salt and pepper this year.
No, see, I don't want to say they were black. I don't want to say that.
No, I'm not saying that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just saying like they're like, you know how I used to use spiced paprika. Like this year, I'm just not.
Yeah.
Going to. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it was yeah. So. Of course, throughout Thanksgiving, or even not even throughout Thanksgiving, but the day before, you know what I was checking for? I was checking for those memes, Thanksgiving clapbacks, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. What did you find?
Found a bunch of stuff.
First of all, did you get the stuff that I sent you?
We'll read those off too.
Okay. I'll just making sure.
Well, you can read those off since those were the ones that you felt that were.
Well, that's why I sent them to you.
Why? I mean,
because you're the narrator.
I mean, yeah, but. I mean, I can narrate them if you want me to.
What did you find?
Nah, I was
First of all, these Tyrese memes be killing me.
Duh,
when
I posted,
why won't y'all leave this man alone? And we're all terrible and going to hell for laughing.
No, we're not. Because he needs this. I don't know if he's on there right now, but it's different from being caught like that. He put himself out there like that.
Lord.
So when you do that,
Lord.
I can laugh, and I can laugh without judgment. So that joint that I posted like on Thanksgiving when Big Mama tell your older sister's your mother, and that fucking ugly ass cry face, that's hilarious.
Okay, so
hilarious.
What did you find?
I found that one. That was one of them that I found. I found the whole blog that was counting down not countdown, but doing like the top 40.
Are we going through the list of them?
Nah, it's 40 of them. We can go through a couple of them. Okay. So
highlight reel. First of all, I'm trying to figure out why I don't got no service in your house.
Do the Wi-Fi.
Okay, hold on.
Anywho, So
Okay.
as you're getting yourself situated with that,
Yes.
the ones that crack me up the most are always the ones where they got Michael Jackson face, or they got T.I. and Tiny Son. What's his not King? What's the little one?
I don't know.
Major. How they got him sipping the tea, the glass of whatever's in there.
Go ahead.
This joint right here. How they always got him, the Michael Jackson one. They always got fucking little. This is a bunch of them, but yeah, like this one. Your aunt saying, you know, you shouldn't party as much as you do. I didn't when I was your age. Yeah, because you had a kid. like shit like that.
Yeah.
Man, those I'm gonna say 2017 was kind of lackluster. Some of these they was funny, but wasn't all that funny.
Well, which ones were funny?
That one. Yeah, and this one, your uncle, why you got so many C's in school? Me, why you got so many baby mothers?
Yeah.
Like the joint with the old lady saying, pull your pants up. Trying to say pull your titties up.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. These are like mean, malicious clapbacks.
That's why it's funny.
I don't know.
I mean, you gonna hear your auntie or grandma saying that every year. Pull your pants up.
Nah, what I thought was funny, I saw one. There's a picture that says, it says, what you think your potato salad tastes like, and then it's Michelle Obama. And then it says, what we think your potato salad tastes like, and it's Rachel Dolezal.
You're not quite black with the potato salad, though.
No, how about you fake? That's what that is. You think your potato salad good? You think it's real? Nah, fake.
Yeah.
Artificial. Not black.
Man.
And then the Kermit ones be getting me. So there's that meme with Kermit laying in the bed, and it's like when you smell the food being cooked, but you woke up too early and you don't want to go in the kitchen or you'll have to help.
Yeah.
That was funny. Then there's a Michael Jackson one.
The Michael Jackson one's always because he got that side look, like bitch.
Yes, the side look. But it says, Uncle, when you gonna have some kids? Me. When you gonna meet yours? Thanksgiving clapbacks. That was funny.
Man, luckily I ain't had to do too many. I ain't have to have too many clapbacks this year. Not even too many. I didn't have to have any. What about you? You ain't have any?
Any clapbacks for anybody? No.
Like any mild ones? I ain't talking about like these were like kind of like savage though, like the ones we see online, but no mild ones, nothing like that.
No. Like my family's pretty chill. It's actually when we invite outside family to the house that they come, you know, with some ignorant stuff or whatever, or they just be super nosy. Now, one thing I don't like, and it's not necessarily me having a clap back, but oh man, where is that one? Did I send you some stuff from Twitter too?
No, I don't think so.
I can't remember, but there was one, maybe I saved it. Let me see. There was one that was talking about basically how everybody's always literally asking you the same shit all the time. And it's just like, don't ask me about my job. Don't ask me about kids. Don't ask me about this.
Yeah, I posted that one.
Like, just worry about yourself. Oh, yeah, I got it.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask me about anything. Here it is. Load.
Oh, my goodness.
Says, on Thanksgiving, don't ask me where my man at, what my major is, or how I'm doing in school. We here to eat. That's it.
See, I used to have that. I would literally have that situation every family function. A whiskey, man.
But that's the thing, yo. And it's like, because they want something to talk about. I do get that.
I don't even think they want something with me in my situation, it's not that they want something to talk about. It's more or less like, how'd you forget that fast? Like, ain't shit changed because we got our holidays.
Now that is something.
2 to 3
when
months.
You literally tell them the same fucking thing every time you see them.
So let's think about Thanksgiving, and then you see them again on Christmas,
exactly.
And they ask you the same thing. I'm like, what do you think happened in between? I still work here.
Yeah,
I'm still dealing with her. Maybe.
No, you want to know what else is a blower? Not to mention that your ass follows me on social media, so you know every fucking thing already. Why are you asking me these questions right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, that does tend to happen from time to time. But in terms of like, people that's trying to get to know you or you don't talk to a lot at all, and they start asking all these questions, I just feel like, and it doesn't have to do necessarily with the holidays, but sometimes people do this on their own too, when they just want to make conversations. But one thing people ask me, and it really bothers me sometimes, is when they say, so you guys not thinking about having any more kids?
Oh, that's happening to me already. Not even having
I
it
know,
anymore. It's
but
more or
like,
less like
right.
when you
it's
are
like
going to
once
start
you reach a
having
milestone. Well, if you haven't reached a milestone, they're always like, well, when is this going to happen? And then once you reach it, they always waiting on the next one. And it's like, how about you just mind your fucking business?
On Thanksgiving, I literally looked at somebody like, bitch. And that wasn't even my house. That wasn't even my family. I'm like, come on, man. Like, seriously, I hadn't heard this 2 weeks ago. And I forgot where I was at from you. Not 2 weeks ago. Like, maybe like a month ago. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, just talked about this.
And it is quite intrusive. Like, one, why am I talking to you about my sex life?
Well,
for one, why?
Why did you think of it as sex? I didn't think of it as sex life.
I mean, how else do you make babies?
I mean, I can run down a list of ways.
How come you and your husband haven't had kids yet? Oh, we just haven't fucked right yet. I mean, like, what the fuck do you want me to say?
I doubt that is no, we haven't.
We haven't quite perfected the right position. You know,
he's still pulling out.
I don't hold my legs up as long as I should.
Say next time he's still pulling out. He ain't leaving it.
I'm sorry, I just suck his dick until he comes. That maybe that's it. Like, what the hell? Like, mind your business. That shit is so annoying. And not only is it family members, but like coworkers.
How you get coworkers doing that?
Like, why? Why are you asking me these questions? Why are you asking me what's happening between me and my husband in the bedroom? Because that's how a baby is made. I mean, in other ways too, but still.
I mean, yeah.
Other places. You know what I mean.
I understand.
I'm sorry. Just got a little passionate right there.
Look, I hear it all in your voice. You sipping on a little something.
That does bother me though. Like, please, people. And I understand, like, you want to make conversations, but at least for me, and maybe at least being a woman, I find that it is quite intrusive to be asking me why me and my husband haven't had kids. Because one, like, what if we have a problem having kids? And
you just bringing shit up.
And you bringing shit up.
See, my whole thing with that is, it might, I can see how it pisses off a woman, but I think that's just what people think married couples should be doing. Fucking, having kids, having kids.
And yes, that's all fine and dandy, but like, what if right now we don't want to have kids?
You know how many times I haven't told people, I'm like, we kind of waiting? And they look at me like, even one of our mutual friends look at me like, why y'all waiting? I'm like, because we want to wait. Like,
exactly. What's wrong with that?
We're going to fuck this good shit up right now that we got going on.
What's wrong with that? Or maybe we're trying and it hasn't happened yet, and you bringing it up.
I mean, we're trying, but we taking measures for it not to happen. I mean, you get what I mean.
No. I'm just literally talking generally speaking. Like, why is it anybody's business what I do in the bedroom? Unless we're like literally close friends.
Yeah.
You should not be asking me what me and my husband are doing in order to make a baby.
So aside from the baby, when you're gonna have babies, is there something else that during the holiday season that some family members or whoever they always ask you that kind of just pisses you off?
Oh yeah, my career.
Yeah,
everything about it.
Yeah,
everything.
I had a family member tell me once, why would I leave a job? And I'm gonna tell you how dumb this. And this is why I don't really listen to some family members. Mm-hmm. So he asked me, why'd I leave? I was working at Washington Hospital Center. He asked me, why'd you leave there? Because he's looking at it like, all right, you're in a good place. It's hard to get fired from a hospital, or you're doing this, and this. You can kind of just stay there and retire. I'm like, that's the old way of thinking. Don't nobody think like that no more. I'm not going to work my way up for pennies and maybe make a certain amount of money by I'm like 40 when I can go somewhere else and make that money now. So I don't get
fired because I'm not working.
Right. So I'm like, he was like, yeah, I just think you should have stayed there and this, and that. And I was like, well, I went to college and I wasn't doing I wasn't doing what I went to college for. Now I am. Mm-hmm. And he just couldn't understand that. Like, it was so far out of his mind that he made it seem like I made a bad career choice.
Right.
I ain't talking to them. That was one of my uncles. Sales insurance. And I'm like, dog, like, I'm not listening to you no more.
Yeah.
Like, so it with stuff like that, I'm like, fucking holidays, man. So what'd you do? I've been doing the same thing for like forever.
Yeah. And that also gets on your nerves too when they don't understand what you do. I mean, that's happened to like my husband a couple of times. Were they like?
My whole thing is, if somebody tells you this is what I do, you can't really mess that up. Mm-hmm. Oh, this person does this. That is it. When somebody asks you what you do, you usually say 3 to 4 words. Mm-hmm. I do blah blah blah.
Well, not really, because sometimes like if you
if
if
you
have
told somebody,
if you have a job that is not of the norm,
right,
that you have to explain to somebody even when they don't know what it is,
you
exactly.
never explain it. You go to the genericness of shit. So
well,
if you like
the
a
one you have to
marine
make up.
biologist, I'm a scientist.
Right.
I study the ocean.
That's true. Like, you have to dumb it down for them just so they can leave it alone.
That's all you do. I say, I work on computers. Oh, what type of computers you work on? I'm like, all right, now, if you ask me what type of computers and shit, then maybe I might get in there a little bit, but like I can't say, oh, I make sure this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. Or I make sure the network is doing this. I make sure load balancing is this, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, so what's a load balancer? Like, we know what that is.
Well, now, that's interesting because I respect that more from people who genuinely want to know exactly what you do and like all the, vocabulary that you use and stuff like that, and trying to understand fully what that is. But then for people, that you may mention that to, they ask you a question a little further and they're like, oh, all right. And then literally forget.
Right.
And then ask you again. That's another thing. But for me, being an actor, they're always like, so what plays are you in right now?
All of them.
All the plays. All the shows.
You should do that one day.
Like, what are you doing? And then if I'm not in something, it's just like, well, what are they going to say when I tell them I'm not working?
Right. Well.
Like, how awkward is that going to be? Now, fortunately, like, for the most of the time that they ask me that, I have had work. But, in those other moments, I'm literally sitting there like, one day I'm going to just be like, I don't work.
I mean, look, the way you say things, you can say things honestly, but the way you say things, it'll back somebody the fuck off. Yeah. Like, I was reading this, not getting to our topic, but related to our topic, just kind of pulling up some stuff. And I didn't know this was a website called Psychology Today, just basically saying, they gave like 6 responses that you can use to, with unsolicited advice. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm like, all right, these are some good responses, but if you're young like us, it's not, and you depending on who you're talking to, those responses are something else. So I kind of came up with my own fucking responses to the responses. I'm like, like this is the PC version, but this is the real life version of that. Well, let's get into it. So let's just say you get some. Number one they had was the best way. Basically, the list was polite ways to handle that or the advice. So number one was saying, "I'll think about it." And
in response to what?
Anything, just anything, like something that someone gave you. Someone gave you advice. You're like, I'll think about it, or whatever have you. But me, I'm not saying I'll think about it.
I'm not saying that shit either.
The first thing I'll probably be like, and that's it. Like, man, I don't know. You know what I mean? This number 2.
Maybe we're too petty. Maybe.
Nah, that ain't petty. Sometimes advice just be fucking horrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be like, I think about that.
And then you be thinking of their situation, you be like, dog.
Yeah, that's too polite.
No, right. Like, I see what you're doing.
Right.
And you want me to be like you? Fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. So number 2, they had, good idea. I'll consider if that's right for me. No, you know what that translates to me?
What?
Maybe. That's it. Maybe. You should do this, maybe.
I'm too prideful. I can't even give people the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to take their advice.
Number 3 is, that's an interesting opinion, but I prefer to do it this way. Now, who the fuck is saying all that?
I might say that.
Nah. I'm like, nah.
I'll be like, that's interesting.
Nah, I'm like, I'm going to do it this way. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even think I need to give people all that information.
So, there you go.
Okay.
So, here's number 4. I'm not looking for any advice right now. That's the political way to say it. The PC way. Me, I'll be like,
I don't know, because I don't know how to say that any PC type of way.
See, me, if I felt that I wasn't looking for advice, my number 1 response is, "Who the fuck asked you?"
That's so funny.
That's what comes.
Thank you, but I'm not looking for advice right now.
Right.
Nah, that still sounded petty in my throat. I felt the pettiness. I felt it.
Number 5 is even funnier. Well, my response is even funnier, but they have Psychology Today has, that's not actually in line with my values.
Ooh.
So
I'm getting fancy on them.
In my head, the Southeast mind state of me said, "You got me fucked up," because like if you say
that one again. Which one is theirs?
That's not actually in line with my values. basically you got me fucked up. Like, how did you think I was going to take that type of advice? Or how you think I'm going to do that? That's just like saying, one of your not you, but
That's
you hear girls talking.
With my
Let's just say guys. You hear a guy talking to another guy, or one of my. This conversation has come about, and I actually came about with an uncle and shit too. Talking about some, you should just eat her butt, and there ain't nothing wrong with eating butt. This was way before eating butt was popular. I was looking at him like, nigga, you gotta be fucked up. Ain't no butt. He said, yeah, just eat it when she get out the shower, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. That's one of those things where advice that is given to you goes against your values, and you have to tell a motherfucker, you got me fucked up.
At the time, but you eat butt now.
I don't eat butt now. Like, I'm not eating
just
butt.
Asking.
I'm just saying.
Some people would be into that.
It goes against my values, so I'm going to continue to say, you got me
That's
fucked.
too much of a raunchy conversation to be politically correct.
That's my uncle. I mean, he said, and this story, this conversation came about, like, and it was another cousin that probably got into it with his girl, and he's like, just make it better. To make it better with her, just eat her butt. And I'm like, nah. And in my head, I'm like, nah, that can't be right. Like, that's not making anything better. I'm like, nah, you're going to be fucked up. I'm not eating butt. Who eating butt over here?
But, hey, you never know. It could change your life.
It's not changing. Yeah, for the worse. It's not
no, it could change it for the best.
Nah.
Do something like that for her. Maybe all of a sudden, just all your
what
problems
girl likes
go
a wet
away.
butt? I mean, like, come on now.
A lot of people are into booty eating. It's nothing against it.
It's not, but
don't judge.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying I would not do it.
Okay.
At all. So number 6. number 6 is I'm not going to do that. So in my head, I'm like,
I'm sorry if I yelled in the but that one is hilarious, and I think I'll use that from now on.
Right. So in my head, I'm like, fuck out of here. That's what that means. I'm not.
And that will dead a conversation.
Yeah, fuck out of here. I'm not fucking taking that advice. So go ahead with that shit. So
we need to remake this list.
I mean, I think we can add about 4 more, make it an even 10 things to say when someone gives you unsolicited advice.
Oh, that was the last one?
Yeah, number 6.
Okay.
Which is 6.
Oh.
So I gave my own version of how I thought about that shit. Like in my head, these are things that I say in my head, and these are things that I might actually say to the person. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really deal with that too much now. I forgot what I was going to say. No, I didn't. This drink is getting to me. But I am surrounded by family that are just very careful with their conversations. Like, they don't intrude too much. They don't do anything. I guess I'm a little blessed to have a family that, kind of already knows me and what I do already, even though we don't see each other as often.
Right.
So I think that's good. I also have opted to just stay home and cook for my own family.
Right.
So that we don't have to go through that type of stuff.
Right.
Every once in a while, my mom will try to get me to visit other family and stuff, or sometimes like they'll combine dinners with like 3 sides of the family, so like in-laws and their other people and stuff like that, and we'll do those every once in a while, but not too often. And half the time automatically, like, he always comes with me, but I'm always like, telling my husband, you can't leave me alone, like with anybody, because I think if you go as a team and stay together,
right,
the people are less likely to talk to you and talk nonsense to you in front of other people. I feel like I always have those awkward moments in those one-on-one situations.
Right. And
I feel that...
Is it because you feel like you barely don't know them, so you don't really... You're kind of... what is the word? You're kind of not reserving yourself, but you're kind of treading lightly because you don't know them. You don't know what could trigger them, what could not trigger them. You're
I'm not worried about
their perception of you.
No, I'm not worried about that. It's just I hate awkward conversations, and I feel like people are more likely to say things and say inappropriate or awkward things around you when you're alone.
Maybe I've never
in my experience.
Yeah.
Like when you're at a function, a family function, you in a corner chilling, minding your business, and all of a sudden, you know, Uncle Sherman rolls up and it has all this stuff to say. You're just sitting there like, sir, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me. But my husband is next to me. He's more likely going to start a conversation with him and then not ask anything stupid or embarrassing because he's right there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get that. Usually with advice, like I was saying before, I very seldom listen to family members with advice or just what they're talking about or you should try this or anything like that. The only person that I kind of do is my mom, and that's sometimes because usually she does give good advice. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like anybody's mom, I don't know if your mom is the same way. They just have a habit of giving you advice when, like unsolicited, it's not asked for.
Yeah.
And it's like one thing.
Oh, yeah. Mother does it all the time.
Another after another. I'm like, I'm ready to leave. All right, Mom. See you later.
Because, I mean, us being 30, like, my mother still doesn't understand that I'm 30. Like, really does not understand. When my uncle passed away, they live in South Carolina. So when I heard he was in the hospital and it wasn't looking good, I said, all right, I'm going to drive down.
Right.
And I'm seeing. And she was like, oh, you think you should do that? Like, it's a long drive. You know, you might get tired. I'm listening like, one, I've made this drive several times.
Two,
like,
the human body gets tired.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like, I know how to drive long distance. And she was like, oh, well, you know, is your husband going to come with you? And I'm like, what the fuck? Am I a baby? No.
You her baby.
I get that. But at the same time, you really do have to think, oh, like you are a grown ass woman now. You can do these things.
Right.
That and, you know, talking about like relocating and moving, I had to drop that knowledge to her.
How did that go? As far as like, I know she gave some. Hold up. So you were around. You visited your mom on Thanksgiving and everything, right?
Yeah, I stopped.
Did that come up?
No, it didn't come up because, well, one, my mother doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving because she's Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
But so I just stopped by her house to, you know, check up on her and stuff. And one, she'd just be cooking random food anyway, so I was already going over there to
I've
eat.
heard.
But I told her this on the phone a couple of days before.
Right.
And her response was like, she didn't say it, but you could almost hear her say these things in her head. But it was just like, but why y'all gotta go there? Or, what she did say was, why are you taking my grandson away?
I mean, that's number one.
I was like, it's 3 hours from here.
Right.
So it's not, one, we're not going anywhere yet.
Right.
But it's only 3 hours from here. You can see him all the time, as much as you see him now, because, you know, us being at our house.
Right.
I mean, you know, like I can't stop by her house every single day if I wanted to, but, you know, with like school and work and stuff like that, we just don't make it over there. But it could still be a weekend thing. She come up, we come down, like whatever.
Right.
But there was all that. And I don't know. There's always that sense of worry and panic, but I feel like it's frustrating because I can't really come to her as often as I want to be excited about something because there's always the worry and panic in her voice, in her thoughts. And sometimes she does express that and nothing is exciting. Nothing is good news.
Right.
If it's, you know, if it has to do with something, even the most positive thing, right. You know, so I don't know.
No, I get it. Yeah, she just worried about you.
Yeah.
My mom, on the other hand, it'll be more or less like, which I hate. She'll tell you how you feel. She'll tell me how she feels, or she gives advice. Mm-hmm. But usually that advice comes later than what it should, and then it always comes it just always comes at the wrong time. Like, you could have gave me this advice then.
Too late.
And it's still the wrong advice sometimes,
Damn.
but you still could have gave me this advice then, and I would have been like, okay, not like after I didn't did it. I didn't try it another way. And I finally got it. And then it's kind of like a reverse I told you so. And I'm like, well, I done already fucking did it. It already happened. So I don't really need advice right now on something that I can't, you know, it's already done.
Yeah. There's no point in an I told you so. There really isn't. But people just have.
It was a
this
reverse.
urge.
I told you so. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you ever witnessed that. Like, how could I possibly take the advice now? It's done. Like, don't.
So what do you mean in a reverse?
So,
I told you so.
Let's just say you could have asked mom or whoever for advice. You handle it your way. Maybe the first way wasn't the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the second way wasn't the right way. But the third way, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you tell this person, friend, mom, dad, whoever, that, oh, you tell them the situation, you handled it this way, and then they hit you with, well, you should have did this, this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. And next time, I mean, this is what I would have done, and it would have worked, and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, I don't really need that shit. Just listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I solved the problem eventually.
Right.
We're here to talk. Like, just listen to what I just told you. And it's like, nah, it's a reverse. I told you so.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I feel like sometimes I always have to put a disclaimer when I go talk to my mom.
Right.
Like, so I want to talk to you about something, but I just want you to listen.
Right.
I don't want your advice, and I don't want what I should have done. I just really need you to hear me out and listen. It don't got nothing to do with her, but just something I want to get off my chest.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel as a parent, like if your child, one, wants to come to you and talk to you about something, like take that in, you know, when they're ready, you know, you can give your opinion on what to say. I mean, the same, I think, with anybody, not just your parents. But I feel like, you know, because they are your parents, they feel that they're not being a good parent unless they tell you what you should have done.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Which I get, but at the same time, if it's too little, too late, you know.
Right. What about what about your brothers? Have you I know you got a lot of brothers. Have you ever gotten advice from them? You're like, dog, not right now. Or even your sister, like, not right now.
No, I'm usually the one that gives my sister advice, and sometimes I gotta fall back because.
So she's like, not right now.
She's that one. I'm that one for her, but at the same time, you know, as I've gotten older, have learned how to fall back and not use that. But with my brothers, they pretty much keep to themselves until I come to them with something, and then I also. You know, I got some good brothers. Like, they'll listen to me and then they'll ask me, like, so, like, what do you need help with? Or, you know, what advice are you looking for? They don't necessarily, like, they're neutral. They're very neutral. They don't try to tell me what I should have done or shouldn't have done. The only time that that's ever happened, and this was years ago when I was younger, when I made like a really big mistake, one of them was like, next time, just don't be afraid to call me. Don't try to feel like you're embarrassed or scared or anything like that. Like, just call me and we'll figure it out. Right. You know?
Yeah, I try to take that approach on with my brother and my sister. Like, my sister will, not recently, but recently. She'll ask me certain things and I'll give like a neutral response because I know no shade to my mom or anything like that, but I know how parents are. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to come off as a parent because sometimes you just need someone. You need that voice that's a parent. You need that voice that's maybe a friend, and you need that neutral voice, that devil's advocate voice. So I always try to play devil's advocate for my brother and my sister to kind of see, like, this can happen this way, this can happen that way. I'm not telling you what you should do. And then if they say, what would you do? Then that's when I say, this is what I'll do.
Right.
But, you know, it's up to you. And, you know, I just try to have them weigh their options because sometimes I feel like I never had that person to help me weigh out my options as far as like, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, this route, that route. So that's the advice I try to give, and that's the advice that I would like to receive. But you know, that shit don't happen all the time. Right.
You right.
What about random people, like strangers out? I ain't even gonna say random people. Yeah, I'm gonna say random people. I'm gonna say strangers. I'm gonna say associates. You know, friends are quite different. I kind of lump them in with family, but like with what about with strangers?
Well, honestly, just really depending on who it is. Now, there are some randomly when I be at work and I run into like married couples and stuff like that, and they're much, much older, they always love giving marriage advice.
Dog, I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
No, but I mean, like, I think it's
man.
funny. I think it's cute sometimes, but like,
Fuck you.
I don't take it to heart. Like they're trying to tell me exactly what to do, but I always think like, it's not how my marriage works.
Right.
You know,
everybody makes their married couples married. Yeah, you guys make your own set of rules. That's how y'all going to operate.
Exactly.
And it seems like you always get advice. Even though I'm new in the game, they always give you advice compared to some traditional shit that they would do.
Yes.
Some traditional shit that they're not doing. And maybe some shit that they're doing. And it's all lumped into one. I'm like, dog, that's y'all. Like, y'all could do that.
Yeah.
One, y'all probably older than me too.
Yeah.
Y'all not married like at this day and age.
Yeah.
So
I get that. But one thing that he said to me, and you might be surprised that even this comment to me was just like, I don't agree and I don't follow that. He was like, you know, in order to keep your wife happy, just do exactly what she says.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, that's a negative. No. That's a negative.
As much as good as that sounds,
it don't sound
for everything to go my way.
Nah.
It's not, because my husband, like, eventually, if that's how it is, my husband is going to resent me.
Right.
And then it's almost like a lie. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to really get down to it and be serious about that type of thing, doing what someone says just so that you don't got no problems or issues, you're not checking that person.
I'm checking you. I'm checking every single chance that I fucking get.
This coming from me, I know when my husband listens to this, he's going to be like, so that's how you feel. But to be quite honest, like, you need to be checked when you're wrong. You don't always need to get things your way or go your way, because eventually that's going to turn into resentment. That's going to turn into anger. And then all of a sudden y'all are not communicating the way that you should.
Right.
And me thinking, you know, in my relationship that, he finally sees it my way, or he finally gets it. That's not what it is.
Right.
Like, in terms of compromising, the compromise is that you understand his feelings and he understands yours, and y'all find a middle ground. It's not that, you know, unless you know you were completely wrong, then you admit that, and you know, the other person, you need to acknowledge that the other person was correct or had a point, but you don't go around just doing whatever thinking that is what saves your marriage.
Right. And that's why I don't really listen to, I ain't gonna say strangers, but just people that ain't really in the circle as far as what their advice. Like, for one, it's just, I don't do it across the board like no one. Sometimes people are crazy. You don't really know them. I mean, you know your friends to a degree, and sometimes you might be finding out new things, but their energy be weird or out of whack, and you don't really know them. So I'm like, I'll hear what you have to say out of respect and politeness. But hell no, I'm not fucking listening to you. Like, what the fuck do I gotta listen to you for?
Right. Now, sometimes you get them old heads that say some stuff, and you'll be like,
yeah.
Okay.
No.
Never? You've never gotten good marriage
My uncle
advice?
tried to tell me, but I'm not listening.
I'm not talking about that type of stuff. I'm saying, have you ever... No. I'm saying, have you ever gotten any advice from someone much older than you and really understood what they were talking about?
No. Yes. I mean, refrain from saying no. And it's weird though, because the only advice I got from one of my homies' stepdad before he passed and shit, and it was about like women and sex and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with this shit. But
what was it?
That's another topic.
Oh,
because we can, yeah.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just one of those things where I don't really get advice from older. That's not true. I get advice from young OGs a lot. Like one of my young OGs that was at the wedding. He gave me some advice. But that's more or less like shit. Advice. God damn it. Advice is advice. So, yeah. But that's not a stranger. But random OG strangers or older guys, fuck no. I don't really know what you about. You could have been slapping your wife for 10 years. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, some of the shit just it never makes sense. It never makes sense.
I mean, like, wise advice.
I mean, no.
I don't mean just unsolicited stuff, but.
I mean, if it's, I'm a very smart individual. So if it sounds decent, I'm pretty sure, like, you yourself, you can decipher, like, this is some good advice.
Right.
So, but no, nah, not yet.
Not yet.
But
I was gonna say, don't lose hope.
I'm not. Nah, that's not true. I got some advice from my uncle, one of my uncles, on my wedding day, and he was like, "A marriage is very hard work, and you have to be willing to put in that work. You need to put in work." Mm-hmm. He said, "Me and your aunt been together for I forget how long, but they've been married for 30 years. And I just thought 30 years was a long ass time. Like, fuck. But I see how they operate with each other. And I'm like, that's kind of dope. So he told me to always put in work. It's going to be work. Be willing to put in the work. You have to put in the work. Like, that's all it was. You have to put in work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And from him, he came out of the army, and, I consider him a very successful person. and the family and stuff like that. So I'm like, from seeing that, I'm like, all right, this is advice I can keep with me, and I keep that with me all the time. Like,
you definitely have to look at their life and how they've actually lived in order to accept taking advice from people. Absolutely. So, because you're definitely right for all of them people that's just like, oh yeah, do this, do that, and it's like, sorry, how's your relationship going?
Right. So it was just one of those things where I'm like, all right, I mean, I take that. I'm always gonna take that advice. So it's like, sometimes if I feel like I'm kind of relaxing and shit, I'm like, yeah, my uncle said I'm gonna have to put in work. So that means not necessarily physical work, but like, what am I doing? I feel like, am I too lax right now? Mm-hmm. Like, not that I'm always serious in the marriage and shit, but I'm making sure I'm doing what I need to do. So yeah, according to how me and her function and shit like that. But
gotcha.
Speaking of as far as our spouses and shit like that, now I know you've gotten because I have unsolicited advice from your spouse, and you have given it. So which one you want to start with? You giving or you receiving?
Me giving. I give unsolicited advice all the time.
And not to be funny, when doesn't a woman give unsolicited advice to their husband or to their boyfriend?
You said what?
When doesn't your woman give unsolicited advice, like to her husband or to her boyfriend?
It's not all the time, but
you just said all the time, man.
I said I give it all the time.
Yeah, give it. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Ain't that what we talking about?
Right. I said when don't they? I'm making a joke.
Right. I got you.
Yes, I'm saying when don't they? I'm just saying I agree with you.
No, yes. That's true. I'm trying to think.
You don't have to give a situation. Just how's that dynamic between y'all two?
Well, that's what I'm thinking about, because it's interesting, because he does take a lot into what I say, but in very small, tiny.
That's all like me.
Tiny little spurts. Like, almost as like I need a magnifying glass to see, oh, that was something. Now, let me tell you what it is, because, I mean, we've just come from such a very long-term successful relationship. And when I say that, I don't mean every day has been successful, but the fact that we've gone through so much and are still together, it's successful. But this is how I know that he takes my advice. He will never say,
I took your advice.
I took your advice. He will never say, you were right. It will just happen.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I know that I have won, quote unquote.
It's not supposed to be. First of all, it's not supposed to be.
I know, but listen. This is just how I can take a win. Okay?
A W's a W,
Just listen. This is how I can take a win. When I see whatever I said actually happens, or he actually like takes action for whatever I said, I know that's a win for me. That's a check mark.
Now, what about him giving you advice?
So, yeah, he gives me advice all the time too. Unsolicited, definitely.
How do you feel?
I mean, the same way he feels. See, this is the thing. Y'all think women nag a lot. Men nag a lot too.
No, I know.
We just handle it differently.
No, my wife handles it the same way that I handle it. It's like,
and how is that?
See, I listen anytime she gives advice. It's because I don't want no problems. I don't want you didn't listen to me. I don't want her to look at me like you're not listening or anything like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm listening. Now, if I will follow those, do I follow that advice? It's a little different. I don't always follow the advice, but if she ever found out something happened bad, or something crazy happened, and I ain't follow her advice, she might fucking murder me in my sleep. So it's one of those.
She's not going to do that.
Shit, if it ever got to that point,
she don't want to be a widow.
Well, she probably don't, but something bad will happen. So
no,
like,
I get it.
I'm like, I'll always listen. I'll entertain, but at the same time, it's kind of like, if it's advice, it's kind of like, not to be funny or whatever, like certain things you can't give advice on to a man or from a woman's point of view because you don't understand a man and vice versa. And that's why you should. That's why I said vice versa, because I also maybe like a couple of days ago, she was having an issue, and not an issue. I forget what it was. Damn, I should say that. I remember what it was.
Right, just you can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it right now.
Right.
And I was trying to come up with a solution, and she said, I'm not asking for you to solve it. Just listen. And she said that shit. I looked at her like, in my head, I was fucking furious. I'm like, she's right.
Yeah.
I gave her a solution. It will solve everything, but she ain't want to hear this shit.
It ain't gonna solve everything.
No, she never takes my advice when it comes to when she's in that state of mind. I might as well not even give her advice.
Let me say this though. For any man giving women advice on women things,
it wasn't even a woman thing. It was
you can't even remember what it was. So how you know?
Look, stop. Look, you really
he pointing at me now. He getting mad. You getting mad?
I do remember.
I touched the spot.
I do remember. I'm just not gonna say it.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a woman thing. It was like a generic thing. She just didn't want to hear it. She wanted to vent, and like sometimes I'm like,
that's true.
Right,
yeah,
I just need to hear her vent.
Well, this is the thing, and this is actual studies that have brought this up, is that when women talk to men, and I'm not saying this is everyone, but there's a common core system that when women rant or talk or just want to get something off their chest, usually with women and women conversations, the women just listen.
Right.
What? With men.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Listen, hear me out. This is an actual study and does reign true, but you're not a woman, so you won't know this.
You're right.
Technically. But when a woman goes and rants to the man, the same conversation she ran it with her girlfriend, the man wants to try to fix it.
Right.
Because it's a problem.
Right.
And that is their nature, to fix things, to handle things, to solve things.
Right.
But a woman does not want the solution. The woman just wants to express her frustration.
Right.
And her anger. So sometimes we do have to come to you and say, I don't need you to solve this. This is a very common phrase that women say to men when they have conversations. Hold on. They say these things not for your answer.
Right. See, and my problem with that is now the man has to deal with the woman being angry around the house.
Yes.
Or sad and shit like that. For God knows how fucking long, when I could just give you the answer to the problem, then maybe 5 days later, what do you think I should do?
Bruh.
Oh, you done been moping around and doing all this shit and snapping at me, and now I got to give you the advice?
Absolutely, and I'm going to tell you why, though. I'm going to tell you why. And hear me out. Hear me out. Because there's nothing wrong with handling your grief. Now, I understand it's frustrating that it takes women way longer than it takes a guy, or you all handle things more internally than women do. But the time that she finally does mention it is the time that she wants your advice. She's not trying to look for a quick solution to fix her anger. She's trying to deal with her anger in her way and then come back to her senses, quote unquote. Technically, that's how women operate.
It's horrible. It's very horrible.
Coming from a man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, the way you guys handle things are not quite as good either.
It's efficient.
No, now let me tell you what's not efficient.
I ain't talking about holding in feelings. I know that's what you about to
holding
get to.
Holding in feelings,
that's
and
not
then
what I'm
you're getting
about.
to the point where you explode.
Yeah, that's not efficient.
Can be quite dangerous.
It is,
so,
but that's not what I'm talking about.
Ain't nothing like that. Nope. So, this culture.
Yeah. For the culture?
Yeah, for the culture.
I mean, before we get to for the culture, you don't want to wrap up.
Oh, our takeaway.
Yeah.
That's right. Our takeaway. So what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is, and put them in check every single time unsolicited advice comes your way.
Nip that shit in the bud immediately.
Now, whether it's savagery or polite, that's up to you and up to the circumstances.
It's up to discretion.
Just put them in place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're on the same page.
Exactly.
Like we're getting too older and I just don't have time. I am going to be cautious about your feelings, but at the end of the day, when you're giving me unsolicited advice, I'm going to let you know when you're not helping.
Right. It depends on how you give me that advice because I'm not going to be polite.
If you're not polite in your approach, I'm definitely not going to be polite in mine. Or maybe I will, and that might make you even more mad that I'm actually polite about it. But, absolutely. Like, just try to dead it as soon as possible. Or maybe, you come up with a clever clap back. If, you're quick on your feet and witty, you can do that.
Now, see, you don't want one of those sessions where y'all just going back and forth. Because now it comes to throwing the hands. And I'm not throwing the hands with nobody. No. So, at least nobody in my family.
I don't think I will ever get to that. I don't deal with people like that. So
shit, you never know. Too much of the whiskey or the Hennessy and shit.
Nah.
Hennessy make motherfuckers fight.
Yeah. I'm sure it does, but I don't deal with people when they're in that state anyway, so it ain't about to happen around me. I don't get that. I don't get to that state.
No, okay.
I don't. Like, I drink, I get nice. If I'm going to get too drunk, it's going to be with one of my closest friends where I know they can take care of me or something like that. But I hate being sick, so I never get that drunk.
I.e., get you home. That's all that means.
No. I mean, like, take care of me. If something happens and I'm, like, throwing up all over the place or something like that.
You mean like holding your hair and shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, take care of me. Make sure I'm modest. Like, my skirt's not coming all the way up and my ass crack showing in front of everybody.
My.
Stuff like that. But that literally has only happened like 3 times in my life. So I don't get that way.
Okay.
Often. What?
I like 6 jokes pop in my head at the same time. I didn't know which one I wanted to make. But we're going to move on.
Okay.
For the culture.
Honestly, I don't think, maybe in like the game world or sports entertainment world, but nothing has popped out like that to me for real.
Now for me, and it finally has happened, Fabulous and Jadakiss dropped their Friday on Elm Street album. It's like 4 years in the making.
Oh.
So I have not listened to it yet, but it's coming. I might do like a little...
maybe a little review?
Nah, not even a review. I might do like a album listening thing on Instagram Live and shit, just so we can...
Really?
Listen to that. Hell yeah, why not? Have people comment and shit, like how they thought that track was and shit like that. But when I say this shit is it's been a long time. I know your husband is already bumping the shit, but it's been a
I haven't heard of Jadakiss Fabulous anything.
What do you mean? Don't do this to me. You haven't heard what? Like them at all? Or?
No, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, this has been a thing for about 4 years. Fab is one. I guess you can call him one of my favorite rappers, but Jadakiss is definitely one of my favorite rappers, and Fab just too cool for school. Like that nigga swag is on like a whole nother level. Not that I'm dick riding and shit like that, but Man, they put out a couple of singles and shit. What was it, like they put out some stuff on the month of October a while ago, every Friday and shit, but got a full album. I don't see no Migos featuring, but you know, might be good. It's got Future, Swiss Beats, Tiana Taylor on one of those. So
okay.
I definitely can't wait. Definitely can't wait. Definitely can't wait.
How that goes.
I will. I might do, like I said, I might do the live album listening and just me drinking and like, God damn, you know, all that other shit. But so that's my for the culture shit. It's been a long time coming.
Well, I got Jennifer Lewis' new book.
Who was it? Oh yeah, I know. Jennifer
from
Lewis.
Blackish.
Yeah,
and every TV mama.
So you said Blackish. I instantly thought of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, but she's literally been somebody's mama. Well, she was an auntie.
Auntie, yeah, but
on Fresh Prince.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes, so she has a book coming out. I mean, there's been like a whole bunch of social media stuff going on. In regards to her promoting her book, but basically, you know, her talking about her experience in Hollywood. It's called The Black Mother of Hollywood.
Okay.
So basically talking about her experience. She also like dealt with bipolar disorder. And so she talks about basically like how, you know, for the longest time she didn't know that she had a problem, but you know, some people would see it and then she finally decided to get help. So basically, you know, she's talking about how, you know, all these certain behaviors and her acting out and stuff like that, having her whole phase and whatnot. Like, she's open about all that type of stuff. So I can't wait to...
Whole phase?
To get into that. Yep, she had a whole phase. What?
That was an accident. But, how old is she to have a... Nah, man, I might check that. Dude.
I'm not talking about now.
No, I'm not saying that. I know you're not talking about that. I was just thinking, like, what was her whole... See, that's crazy. Like, what was her whole phase like back in when she had it? Because I know she's older. I ain't gonna say she's old, but she's older.
What do you mean? The same way other people have whole phases?
No, I get that. Bang, bang, bang. I get that aspect, but it's a different time and day. Like, what she consider her whole phase might not even be a whole phase compared to what we think it is.
First of all, no. Back then, they were much freakier. They just didn't have social media. Fuck. So please stop getting it twisted.
And that makes me think
with
like,
these old people.
Go ahead, Unc. Go ahead, Granddad.
Seriously, no. Like, randomly, and my grandmother, before she passed, because we got married before then, but she had a conversation with my husband and was like, yeah, you know, basically like, oh, we don't know the type of stuff she did. My grandma was like, oh, you know, back in my day kind of thing. And I'm just like, hold up. You're supposed to be a Christian for your whole entire life. What does this mean?
I mean, look.
But seriously, don't get it twisted. These older people be out here shaming and doing all this stuff, and you have no idea how hard these people be going.
Yeah, I mean.
Seriously.
Man. Just to think.
We'll read about it.
Yeah, I'll come to you when you read and then you let me know.
I'll let you know
what she went through. I ain't reading the whole book.
But any shout outs this week?
Yeah, shout out to Lays at the Comcast. Just not only because, but yeah, man.
Was this on Twitter or
Instagram? I put this little sound clip out on one of our past podcasts for Wednesday Wisdom, # Wednesday Wisdom, and you know, did a comment. The comment was funny as hell. You can check it out.
What was the comment?
Basically, the little soundbite for Wednesday Wisdom, and I might start doing that more and more, was basically saying, explaining if if a guy's playing video games and stuff like that, and his woman really wants like some D or whatever have you, that if you know your partner well enough, you can get them off right quick and get right back to the video games.
Right.
So Lays, him and his partners, they do a podcast called the Comcast. So they talk about, I would say everything
the
sexual,
Comcast.
I guess. Like CUM, Comcast, like Comcast.
I was just saying, you gotta say that for the listeners.
Yeah, the Comcast. I thought, anyway. So I was like, shit, let me tag them in this shit because we literally talked about that and I posted it and, made a little funny comment. You guys can check it out on our Instagram at strugglesreal87, but shout them out. I listen to their podcast from time to time. Funny shit, interesting shit. And so, yeah.
Okay.
That's my shout out for the week.
A shout out to Mr. Film Critic or IK. I don't know. Film critic. Ha! I got it. That was funny. I like
got it
that.
when you were saying it.
But anyway, so because we're coming up off Thanksgiving holiday and basically like these awkward moments you have during turkey time, depending on, who you are, if you got a boo, if you don't got a boo. But there's this awkward moment and I wanted to he retweeted the episode and said, let's all remember the legendary Nipples and Toes 23 scene from Master of None's incredible Thanksgiving episode.
Nipples and Toes.
Listen.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been watching it.
So here it goes. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it together. My volume's going to work.
Oh, this has to go on the ground. Hey, Nikki, what is your username on there? Nipples and Toes 23. What was it again? Nipples and Toes 23. Okay, I'm going to add you real quick. So, Nipples and Toes 43. No, Nipples and Toes 23. Nipples and Toes 23. Yeah.
This is at the Thanksgiving table.
And the letter N toes
in front of grandma
and
shit.
Auntie
and everyone.
The word A&D toes 23. So
now she's saying it proudly.
A&D toes. Yes. So nipples and toes 23. Nipples
And Aziz is being such an asshole, repeating it over and over again.
It's very clear what a username is.
Auntie, shut that shit up.
Wow.
That was so embarrassing. But yeah, shout out to all the awkward moments.
Fuck yeah.
Thanksgiving.
I ain't. Yeah. I hug too many. Look.
What?
The most awkward moment I had on Thanksgiving was hugging dudes. I'm like, dudes I don't know.
Why was you hugging dudes you don't know?
And that came out wrong, and that's not what I meant.
I did not mean it like that.
It came out wrong in my head. I'm like, all right, clear that up.
You're fine.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, hugging dudes ain't no family members. Not my family, but in-laws and shit
that's
like
weird.
that.
I'd have been like, pound. Because I don't hug people
I
like that.
And it's like, I'm like,
You're just so awkward.
Doing that shit. I'm like,
You don't have to.
dog, you think I was like, that was my first Thanksgiving. You think I was like going not, and it was an older guy. So I'm like, I mean, maybe they hug. I don't know.
Yeah, some people, depending,
And then my wife, my sister-in-law made a joke like, you can give too many hugs out, huh? And I'm like, man, shut up. My wife almost like, what y'all say? I was like, nothing.
That is hilarious.
It was uncomfortable.
Well, you ain't got to go home.
Yeah.
But it's about that time.
Yes, indeed.
Follow us on all our social media platforms.
Yes, and give us a review. We will greatly appreciate it on iTunes.
Yes, rate and review. Give us some stars. Follow us on Twitter at struggle_real87 and Instagram at struggleisreal87. All one word.
Yes, and check out the YouTube if you can. Past podcast episodes on there, along with some of our little clips like our Monday motivation, Wednesday wisdom, Thursday thoughts, and Friday feelings.
Get into it.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.